Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So some very interesting things are happening on the Bittensor ecosystem now, especially if you're looking at the TAO chart. Many of you would be happy. If you remember yesterday, in my last video when I published this was, I think, yes, it was yesterday. Silly me. The the TAO token was trading at about 381. And today, just right now, if we look at the price chart, it's trading at somewhere around 415. So clearly there is an uptrend now. If you remember the last chart that we saw, and let me just share my screen so we can, watch it together and enjoy. So as you can see, we have, last we looked at it on the 8th of, on the 9th of June, and it was already trading at like 381, 380, 381, and it is now at 415. If you look at the top, the top is at 723, which was 6th of December 24, like the last cycle top. And in the cup and handle pattern, we're yet to reach this 463 level. And I think this is an extremely important level because at this point, we'll have confirmation of a reversal or a bullish reversal. We're already seeing on the RSI that there is, there is a reversal here on the RSI, which basically indicates, more buyers and more volume in the market, which is pretty good. Overall, across the crypto market, we're green all the way from Bitcoin to ETH to the altcoin market. Everything is completely green right now, which is great. But if you compare everything across, like just holding BTC since morning till tonight would have given you 2.4, and TAO has given you 3 times that. The reason why I think this reversal is happening, of course, one is the broader climate around crypto at this moment, but it's also interesting to see how market is realizing that even before larger players like Sol and others, there is attention going into the AI market, and because attention is going to the AI market, TAO is the hottest play. Now, this video, I want to talk about yet another subnet, which I think is extremely interesting. What really caught my attention on this specific subnet that I'm going to talk about is it's kind of this intersection, between a prediction market like Polymarket and an LLM. So imagine an LLM like ChatGPT and Polymarket having a baby. it's that kind of crazy thing. So the subnet that I want to talk about is subnet 6 Infinity Games. But before I talk about Infinity Games, let's just look at very quickly what's happening on the broader TAO ecosystem. So the total market cap of all subnets now is at 826 million, with the total FTV reaching $14 billion. There is strong volume. It continues to this day. The one-day volume has increased by $131 million, which is kind of pretty cool, up 98% from yesterday. TAO price is of course already up 7 to 8%. So these are all indicators that bullish phase that is happening in TAO is also that momentum is coming into alpha token. So keep that in mind, because in crypto, momentum is everything. Now, there is also an important thing, like when attention flows, I love this Pareto chart analysis that TAO app has already done, because Pareto is one of the big rules of nature, like 80-20, like 20% of your effort yields 80% of your output, 20% of your assets yield 80% of your ROI. And this is pretty much a rule in finance, and much larger rule in nature as well. So if you look at what's really happening, like Shoots pretty much at subnet 64 has more emission than the next like 2 or 3 combined, right? Also, Creator, in terms of its price change, is more than is almost double the previous one. So we see this thing happening in the market. But as you can see, there is keep in mind that these numbers are bound to change, because as the entire alpha token market expands, you will see the market mature. You will see emissions kind of increase across the base. Higher quality subnets will get more emissions because there will be a greater proof of work and history behind them. So all of these things will essentially drive the market. Now, having said that, one of the subnets that really caught my attention today was Subnet 6. When I think about Subnet 6 and I think about this AI powered, prediction layer, here's how it works. So it uses LLMs to make forecasts on, real world binary events. An example could be elections, or sports matches or something else, right? Whatever. And this, this use of LLMs is actually really cool because, it's like most prediction models that are built, they use some kind of statistical analysis, meaning they're looking at history, they're looking at numbers and data, and they're using those numbers and data to make a prediction. But when humans make predictions, data is a part of it. And then there is intuition, there is reasoning, there is thinking, there is gut instincts. They combine all of them to, make better predictions, which is why on Polymarket, we call it the source of truth, because it's the combined reasoning, thinking, and estimate of humanity all coming together, who are betting with their money on what the outcome is going to be. And it's more or less true, because wisdom of the crowds almost converge to, what will be the reality in the market. So instead of just using stats, this subnet is focused on reasoning, on context, on world knowledge. And this is the domain where humans traditionally dominate. And so if they're able to build something really cool, I see one of the biggest business models for them would be like, I can only imagine if a prediction market like Polymarket tomorrow, taps into this data stream from this subnet to sharpen the odds that they are giving to the users, to the bettors on their application. That itself is such a huge market, because I don't know if you saw this news, but Polymarket recently, and let me also search for it. But Polymarket recently had a major announcement, because Polymarket and X decided to, come together and, and essentially partner as their official prediction market platform. Now that's huge, because X has hundreds of millions of users who are every day, sharing their insights on not only what's happening in the market, like in terms of current affairs, but also they are predicting what's going to happen next. There's always debate, discussions happening. So it's such a huge melting pot of ideas from all categories, from sports to religion to elections and politics and everything. And so I think that's where I see the biggest opportunity for Infinity Games in terms of offering a paid forecasting API, and that could be a huge business model. As I was going through their website, what really caught my attention was, and maybe this is a little on the surface, but every small thing matters, right? When it comes to investing in early stage companies, it shows you how they take things seriously. And I love the quality of their website. I think it's extremely professional for a small early stage team. They're they already have, and what really caught my attention apart from the website, which is a little fluff to be really honest, but it's really Alon. Now this is Aeon, which is the market maker for truth. So what Aeon does is, it's an agentic machine which transforms Infinity Games output, which is basically all of these predictions that Subnet 6 miners are making using LLMs, into live economic activity on prediction markets. That's what it does. And it is already pricing certainty into the world of speculation. And if you go visit their website, you will see there is this prediction tab where you can already see on different binary questions or events which are created, real-time prediction is being generated through Subnet 6 LLM model. So there is a question on will Donald Trump be impeached by the end of this year, and it has given a low prediction of 0.18. There's a question on will Deking, which is the agent on which is an agent created for sports predictions. Will it reach new high and on December? And it's given a very high prediction of 0.82. The cool thing is you can open up any of this and actually read the reasoning. How did it arrive at this number? Why is it saying so? Which I think is great because this gives you more confidence on the quality of prediction that it is giving, and use that information to make your own bets. A cool thing that Alon is now working on next is the vaults feature. Now, this vaults feature is essentially, imagine a pool of capital locked in a vault, and the agent is using all of the predictions that are being generated through Subnet 6 to deploy capital and earn a rate of return, either through delta neutral strategies or through some other kind of directional strategy. This to me is a game changer because Def AI is a huge narrative in crypto right now. And so Subnet 6 is actually at the intersection of Def AI and prediction markets, two of the hottest narratives, and AI, the third largest, biggest narrative. So I think the stars are aligning for Subnet 6 at this stage. If I go back, I think the chart is also extremely beautiful because, after an initial craziness that always happens with something new, we saw the price, tapering down, and now it's at a level where, if I kind of zoom in here, you will see there is a small consolidation happening from all the way from 7th of June until now, and the price is not going any further down. This is a good early indicator that, people are willing to accept price and find an equilibrium at this price. This is definitely a good point to start accumulating Subnet 6 Infinity games. Now, I also just quickly want to go back to Aeon 5100 because apparently Aeon also has a token which is listed on Base. And if you see this token, it was released in late December last year when the first AI agent wave came. It went all the way to 42 million before collapsing to 2.5 million. That's like a 90% drop. And now from those periods, since April, it has started increasing, and mid of April now it is at 12 million. So it's already up 6x over the last 1.5-2 months. And because base season is already here, I am expecting this to go up even further. This could kind of give you that secondary exposure at the app level. If you don't want to play at the infra level with Subnet 6, you can definitely play at the app level with Aeon 5100. Now, I want to end this video today by quickly looking at the price performance if we would have notionally held all of the subnets that I have discussed so far in today's video and in the previous videos that I had published, that I will attach right here in the top of the cards, the top of this video. If you look at all of this, I just updated the price points for each of them. And the entry prices is based on when I published this video. As you can already see, that had we invested in an index, if it was tracking these 9-10 odd subnet alpha tokens, we would have already been up 128%. What this should tell you is not that, hey, I should have bought and I'm such an idiot. No. What this should actually tell you is that there is positive price momentum happening on the alpha side of Bittensor right now. And so compare this to the kind of returns that AI agents gave in November, December. Many of them went parabolic. Remember AI 16C going from almost nothing to $2.5 billion. Virtuals going from almost nothing to $2 billion, or maybe $3 or $4 billion, much more actually. AI XPT going from nothing to almost $1 billion, 700 or 800 million, if I remember correctly. So we're at that stage for many of these subnets. It's so early right now. Many of them are trading at sub 100 million, FTVs. Many are much lower. So there is a huge potential in many of them, especially ones where, we can clearly see there is a business model. We can clearly see there is a live product, and we can clearly see the team is working on something, in an extremely professional way. That should give you a lot of confidence to move into these alpha tokens in a strategic way. So, yep, that's it on today's video, guys. If you enjoyed my video, don't forget to subscribe and like and share it with your friends. As always, I'll come back again tomorrow with more alpha and insights from the Bittensor ecosystem. Until then, sayonara.